NBA action is fantastic. For some of you older guys, you remember those commercials the NBA used to have. And the NBA is fantastic, and I'm glad it's back. But I'm a little perturbed about a few things that I see. First of all, obviously the elephant or the gorilla in the room with the Chris Paul situation. I feel sorry for that young man. I know a lot of my friends always say, "Man, I don't feel sorry for these NBA players. They make millions and millions of dollars, man. They just need to play and shut up and all this stuff." And I understand where people are coming from with that, but with the Chris Paul situation, you can't help who you're drafted to. I think this guy has done everything and anything he could do to win in New Orleans. It's just it's a bad situation for him to win a championship, because to me he is a championship point guard, and unfortunately they just don't have the pieces to do that. And he loves the city of New Orleans, man. He's a great kid. He's done a lot of great things for that city, but unfortunately it's time for him to move on, because he needs to have a great legacy. And in order to do that, you got to win championships, period. And I like the way he's doing it the right way. He's actually letting the team know that, hey, basically I'm not going to sign here. I'm going to be a free agent, so you guys better trade me to get something back. Unlike LeBron. LeBron didn't do that with Cleveland. So I got to give Chris Paul a lot of credit. And also I'll give him credit for actually coming to training camp instead of sitting out that day, because he has no reason to sit out. A lot of people were saying, Lamar Odom and Pau Gasol, how could they show up to training camp, or I wouldn't have shown up if somebody who didn't want me, and things like that. But it's different with Chris Paul, because Chris Paul is the player that New Orleans wants. He's the one that doesn't want to be there. So I give him credit for it, but I'm not making a big deal out of it for him showing up, because all he has to do is walk in the office and sign the contract. And he's in New Orleans Hornets for many years to come. But unfortunately, it's time for him to move on. Now, my thoughts on this whole Lakers trade and everything else. This is why I feel sorry for Chris Paul. David Stern. Unfortunately, he was put in a pretty tight situation two ways. One, he had to take ownership duties of the New Orleans Hornets, and also he had to get this new CBA signed. And the other 29 teams, are part owners of the New Orleans Hornets. And also with Chris Paul wanting to go to the Lakers, a lot of owners felt that this is going against what they've talked about all summer, basically saying, hey, we don't want a bunch of superstars on one team, and we don't want just 3, 4, or 5 franchises just competing for a championship. And I understand where they're coming from. The reason why I say Chris Paul, I feel sorry for him, is because David Stern basically, with one decision to say, hey, you're not going to the Lakers, he might have cost that man a great legacy of winning championships. Because, here's how I look at it. Nobody broke any rules. Nobody did anything illegal or anything like that. It's not like New Orleans didn't get great players back. They got the guy who used to play for Phoenix, the backup point guard. I don't want to mess up his name. The real good kid, point guard, plays for Houston. New Orleans going to get him. They're going to get Lamar Odom, Kevin Martin, and Scola. I know they didn't get any draft picks, but what else do you want? So obviously it's not about wins and losses to me. It goes a little deeper than that. When you're David Stern and you own, you took ownership of the New Orleans Hornets, his job to me is to do what's best for the franchise. And it doesn't come down to wins and losses to me. People have to understand that David Stern works for the owners, period. He doesn't work for the players, he works for the owners. You've seen that during the lockout. And his thing is to make sure the owners are happy, number one, and number two, to make sure the New Orleans Hornets are sold. And if you got to look at it like this. If you're a potential buyer of the New Orleans Hornets, David Stern has to basically be like a salesman, and he has to sell the Hornets. So a great sell to a potential buyer would say, hey, listen, I got this team in New Orleans. we got a superstar player and Chris Paul. You come in and build around him, and you're making money because he's a marquee player and he's selling tickets and all that stuff. But obviously that's not going to happen. So what's the second thing they should do if you're trying to sell the team? David Stern is trying to sell the team to a potential owner. Well, he could say, well, hey, listen, I got a team here. I know Chris Paul's gone, but we basically have a roster full of players that are not getting big contracts, and basically you can build your own team. You can start with a clean slate. You don't have a marquee player, but you don't have a bunch of liabilities on your roster neither, and you can pretty much build a team the way you want to. And that's the reason why, in my opinion, this trade didn't go through, because Lamar Odom and Scola and Martin and all these guys are making pretty good money, but they're not marquee players. So if a new owner would buy the team, that would be a hard sell for David Stern. And plus, on top of that, the new CBA wasn't signed over yet, and teams like owners like Dan Gilbert and things like that were mad that, hey, this goes against everything we talked about with the new CBA. So I think the I's wasn't dotted and the T's wasn't crossed, and that stuff wasn't done. So they had to say, okay, David Stern had to say, okay, well, I'm gonna veto this trade and make up a bunch of BS of why I didn't do it and this, that, and the third. Because at the end of the day, David Stern is wearing two hats. He's a commissioner and he's the owner responsible for the Hornets. So with him, he's in a tough situation, but he's going to do what's best for the league first. Not what's best for the Hornets or any particular player. And remember, Chris Paul was the only superstar that was involved in the lockout discussions, during the meetings and all that. And David Stern and Chris Paul had some pretty heated exchanges, I heard. So he might be holding that against him. I don't know. But I really feel bad for Chris Paul not being able to go to the Lakers. He's probably not going to go to the Knicks. And, with Tyson Chandler there now with that contract. And now I guess the Clippers are chasing him and stuff. I don't know. But it's going to be real difficult. That's a tough situation. And now let's talk about Lamar Odom and Paul Gasol with the Lakers. Paul Gasol, to me, he needs to be traded for a few reasons. One, Paul Gasol was not labeled soft. He got rid of that soft label during the back-to-back championships, but he gained it back real quick from what he did last summer or what he did last season. I mean, he totally fell apart. You're talking about LeBron James crushing under pressure. Paul Gasol absolutely collapsed. In all series against New Orleans Hornets and against Dallas, he didn't play well at all, and a lot of people saying the rumors about him and his girlfriend breaking up, and Kobe Bryant's wife telling his girlfriend and all that stuff. And if that's true, it's going to be hard for Kobe Bryant and Paul Gasol to play together. And I just think it's time for them to separate ways, get rid of that big contract Paul Gasol's getting, and then get somebody in that's going to be a little bit tougher, and they could get along better with Kobe. I think that's not going to work anymore unless they can mend their relationship. But I don't see it working. Lamar Odom, I do feel sorry for him a little bit, because the fact that this guy plays his heart out. Even though the Lakers got beat really bad against Dallas Mavericks, I mean, they got exposed in that series, and then Game 4 they just got blown out. And obviously you're going to have to make some changes when a team loses like that. But it was a combination of a few things for me with that series. One, Dallas Mavericks were hot, and they played real good. I mean, they were on a mission, and you lost to the eventual champs. Yeah, you got beat bad, but you lost to a great team. Also, the Lakers, like I said before, with the Paul Gasol, Kobe Bryant thing, they had their little riff going on, and that was hard to, your two best players are not on the same page. It's hard to get anything done with that going on. And I think Phil Jackson, he pretty much, I'm not saying he quit, but I think he was just ready to go. And then the fact that, they've been to the finals 3 years in a row, and I think they were just tired, and a lot of things were frustrating, and they had some nagging injuries, and it was just bad timing, and they ran across a buzzsaw in the Dallas Mavericks. So, but with the Lamar Odom situation, you guys know about him and Khloe Kardashian and him living out in L.A., and he loves Los Angeles, even though he's from New York City. That's considered his home now. And it's hard when you're a professional or when you're anybody when you feel like you're not wanted. And I don't know everything that's going on with Lamar Odom behind closed doors, I don't think it's that they don't want him per se. I just think it's the fact that they wanted Chris Paul and Dwight Howard. Because folks, let's keep it real here. If that trade would have happened with Chris Paul, if that would have went down, and you're getting rid of Pau Gasol and Lamar Odom, your two of your best bigs, besides Andrew Bynum, you already know that the Lakers were probably going to backdoor Dwight Howard in there some way and get rid of maybe Bynum and some picks or something like that. Because there's no way you're going to give up two great big men like that just for a point guard without getting a big man back. And I think Lamar Odom was just not saying they didn't want him. I just think they just wanted Dwight Howard and Chris Paul so bad, and he's taking it so personal that now I'm hearing that he's going to the Dallas Mavericks. He's getting traded for some picks, and that's unfortunate, man, because for them to. And they said also, the Lakers said they're trying to dump salaries, clear cap room. And they're not trying to get Dwight Howard. But obviously, they're trying to get Dwight. Obviously, I mean, if Dwight Howard goes to the Lakers, that's going to be an incredible shift change of power over to the Lakers if they get him. But Lamar, he's done some great things with the Lakers. And unfortunately, it's a business. And even though I do feel sorry for Lamar Odom, I gotta be on the same page with Kobe Bryant and say, hey, you got to do your job, man. Go to work. It's not like they said, hey, you're going to get traded, or you may not get traded, or you may get traded, but you're not going to get paid. You're still getting paid, man. You're still going to get a paycheck when you're supposed to. And if you're supposed to get a paycheck, you're supposed to go to work. So I feel sorry for him in that aspect, but he still has to go to work. Also, Tyson Chandler going to the Knicks. Wow, that was a huge pickup. A big pickup for the Knicks and a huge loss for the Dallas Mavericks, man. Oh, my goodness. I mean, this is a serious gamble because here's what's going on, folks. For those of you that don't know, the Dallas Mavericks, the reason why they didn't give Tyson Chandler the money that he's worth, because Knicks paid him what he's worth, pretty much, because he's a game changer, literally. The reason why they didn't pay him what he's worth, because Mark Cuban felt that they're going to save money for the free agency of this summer coming up. So he wants to save that money now. And I'm a big component. I've always said this. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, man. He, to me, even though Dirk won the Finals MVP and Jason Terry was doing his thing, to me, they would not have won the championship without Tyson Chandler. And you got to pay that guy. If you want to really win championships, you have to pay the players that helped you win. And this is what I'm talking about with the NBA. To me, I'm not saying that the owners don't want to win. Of course they want to win. But I think sometimes owners would rather have a marquee player and to make money, because this is what the owners are here for. They're here to make money. And if they can have a Dwight Howard or a Chris Paul or a marquee player, because they know Dirk Nowitzki is not going to be around too much longer, they're trying to secure their future and trying to get a marquee player by saving money by not paying Tyson Chandler, which, I don't like it at all. But somebody else's trash is somebody else's treasure, I guess. And even though the Knicks offensively or on paper look like a pretty good team with Melo now and Amari, and now you got Tyson Chandler, who absolutely is a killer on the pick and rolls. I don't even have to tell you what kind of defender he is. He's a great shot blocker, individual defender, great team defender. I mean, he erases a lot of mistakes that the Knicks are going to make. But here's some things that's going to happen with the Knicks to me. First of all, Tyson Chandler is very foul prone. And in this situation with the Knicks, he's going to be more foul prone, because you're dealing with a team in the New York Knicks who's atrocious on defense. And it's going to put a lot of pressure on Tyson Chandler on that back end or in that lane, where a lot of people are going to be getting to the rim. And even though he shot, he blocks a lot of shots, he's going to be in a lot of foul trouble because of the situations with Melo and Amari and the point guard situations. They're not good defensively. So Tyson Chandler will be in a lot of foul trouble, and they don't have a backup. Jared Jeffries right now is their backup center. Because Ronnie Turioff is over in Washington because of the sign and deal, the sign and trade deal thing, to make room for Tyson Chandler. So it's going to be difficult for the Knicks to actually win the championship. And Tyson Chandler, even though he's getting more money, I think, to me, if he couldn't have went to Dallas, he should have went to Miami. if he wanted to win a championship. But if you want the money, hey, go to the Knicks, because nobody's going to pay you more than the Knicks. But at the end of the day, they're not going to win a championship. They will go to the playoffs, of course, but they're not going to beat Miami, Chicago, or Boston, or anybody like that. Especially with how weak defensively they are. Chauncey Billups has been amnestied. He's gone. I think Chauncey Billups, to me, should go to the Lakers, and I'll talk about that in a second. And they don't have a point guard. Tony Douglas, he's a backup at best. They're about to sign Mike Bibby, but you know how he is defensively. He can't get to the rim to save his life. And they just don't have enough pieces off the bench, period. So, we'll see what happens, but I don't believe that the New York Knicks are a championship contender. Now, this trade did not go through, but I really believe, as far as the Chris Paul trade, but I really believe that that Chauncey Billups being amnestied, and if they can somehow, the Lakers could somehow get Dwight Howard, I think Chauncey Billups will be an excellent addition for the LA Lakers, and here's why. You're going to get him for cheap, number one. Number two, he's a floor leader. He's a finals MVP. He's a champion. This guy will take a lot of pressure off Kobe Bryant in the last minutes of the game, because you cannot double team off Chauncey Billups. You know that. He can defend the point guard. He's, the point guards, unlike Derek Fisher. He's strong. Is he as good as he used to be in Detroit? No, of course not. I know that. But that would be a heck of a pickup for the Lakers if they go ahead and get if they get Chauncey Billups. Miami might get Chauncey Billups. Who knows? Another move that I liked is the fact that Rip Hamilton's going to the Bulls. I've said this. I've been saying this since last season. I think Rip Hamilton is definitely almost a perfect fit for the Bulls, and here's why. Obviously, the Bulls were weak in the shooting guard position. They're stronger now. They actually got a guy that can help them with scoring, with Rip Hamilton. He can score off the dribble, and he can create his own shot, and he can spot up off the double teams. And he plays defense individually, and he's a great team defender, and he's in great shape. He can play a lot of minutes, and even though his age, a lot of people think he's maybe a little bit long in the tooth, he is definitely in great shape for his age, so I think he'll do a great job. But the Bulls still are missing some key pieces off the bench, and Carlos Boozer needs to stop stealing money and start playing his game like he did in Utah. If they can do that, they'll be fine. So let me know what you guys' thoughts are on all these different topics. I'm probably missing some things. There's just so many things to talk about. But I actually have a question for you guys. Oh, first of all, I want to give a shout out to somebody real quick. I want to give a shout out to my boy Tupac82, my boy Jim. I seen your messages you sent me, man. I appreciate it. I want you guys to check out his channel, Tupac82. He talks about basketball cards and basketball. He just recently had a very interesting interview with Stephen Curry, who is his favorite player. So I guess he talked to him over Skype, and they had a one-on-one conversation, and that had to be pretty cool, man. To actually sit there and talk, to your favorite player one-on-one, and actually him taking the time out of his day to do that. That was cool, man. I really enjoyed that interview, because you're a smart basketball fan, man. And if you guys want to hear a guy that really knows about the NBA, check out Tupac82. He's a good friend of mine here on YouTube, man, and shout outs to him, man. But here's my question. Marc Gasol is a highly touted free agent as well, and we all know that how he played in the playoffs last year. He's a big, strong center, and he's been known as Paul Gasol's little brother. And then we got Paul Gasol, multi-time all-star, great player, but he's been labeled soft, and now what he did in the playoffs last year. Here's my question, folks. Big brother versus little brother. Who's the better player right now? Is it Marc Gasol, the big, strong center, or Paul Gasol? Who's a better center, and who's a better power forward? Who's better at their position, and who's a better overall player? Let me know what you guys think about that. Also, let me know what you guys think about the CP3 trade that didn't go through, about Dwight Howard. I'll get into Dwight Howard later. I know I'm missing, the things about going to the Nets and everything else. I'll talk about that later once we get some more information. Let me know what you guys think about the Tyson Chandler trade. Just let me know what you think overall about all this craziness going on. And let me know your thoughts on how you think the NBA will go this year, okay? Thanks, guys. Take care of yourselves. I'll talk to you soon. And don't forget, if you can believe it, you can do it. Thanks for watching. You guys know I appreciate it. And remember, folks, always, always treat people how you want to be treated, and everything will be okay. This is NBA Jerry, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.